On this edition of Soul Survivors, meet a quadriplegic who refused to let his body hold him prisoner and instead allowed his mind to set him free.
When you find your passion and you find the reason you're like you are, you're going to take it and you're going to run with it.
Jack Stone had it all. A wonderful and caring wife, 2 beautiful daughters, and a successful career he'd worked his whole life for. But in the blink of an eye, that life changed forever.
The doctors were talking back and forth with my parents. They said he probably maybe won't even live 24 hours.
Paralyzed from the neck down, Jack's entire world came crashing down around him.
I wanted to die. 100 times I asked my wife, I begged her to take me off the ventilator just to let me go.
With hope fading fast, he had all but lost the will to live. This is his story.
My name is Dennis John Stone, but everybody calls me Jack. I suppose it comes from my grandmother. I live up here in Morrisonville, New York, about 60 miles south of Montreal. You got your meat coat on? You take me for a ride in the meat coat? My dream when I was little started when I was like 12 years old. A farmer came to our house to butcher our cow and I seen how it was done. I went to his butcher shop and I watched it. I wanted to be a butcher. That's what I became. I did everything there was to become. There was no schools for butchers, there was no colleges. So when I was out of school, came home and made my own slaughterhouse. We used to go racing in the wintertime snowmobiles, and that was fun. And in the summertime, I looked at the stock cars and they said, boy, they look safer than snowmobiles. They got roll bars and cages. So we started racing cars. All my friends around here were doing it. And it was just one guy against the other. We raced snowmobiles together, and then when the snowmobiles stopped, we started racing stock cars together. It took me away from my regular job. You work on the slaughterhouse, but when you worked on the stock car, it was fun. Preparing the car was just as much fun or more than just racing it. When I got to the hospital, they told me I was going to be paralyzed. I just couldn't understand it. I thought I was going to get better, but there was no getting better. It just got worse and worse and worse. Then I couldn't breathe on my own. And then the doctors started talking about gonna have to have a wheelchair, gonna have to go live in an institution, or have family members take care of you. It was not good. When I was intensive care laying in bed, the doctors were talking back and forth with my parents. They said he probably maybe won't even live 24 hours. If he does, it's going to be a miracle. And then if he does, he's probably just going to be a burden to the family. And I heard this. I couldn't open my eyes, like my eyes are welded shut. Like if I tried to open, they wouldn't move, but I heard my family. And I heard the doctors talking back and forth, saying things like, he's better off dead. I says, oh my God, I'm not doing good here. This is not good. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to give up, but I didn't know what to do. What made me change is my two children, Heather and Hillary, were 7 and 8 or 8 and 9 years old at the time. And they came in, and I heard them say, Daddy, we need you. We need you. You can't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. We love you. We need you. And that made me fight. I started thinking about, I'm not going to watch my girls graduate. I'm not going to watch them go to the prom. I won't see them get married. I won't be able to walk them down the aisle. I'll never have grandchildren. All these different things were going through my mind.
White on one side and blue on the other, and then one, you gotta kind of do a C, but you make big flowers or human. I remember the first day that my life changed after my dad had come home from the hospital. I had already known. I mean, of course, when you find out, you break down and you're just like, what do you mean your father can't walk anymore? What do you mean he can't talk anymore? It was as if Superman had been killed.
Someone accidentally slammed it in the door, so I had to leave.
One day I was laying in bed. I felt this sensation of the ceiling coming down on me, like squashing me. And I was thinking at the same time, not wanting to live, and I wanted my wife to turn the ventilator off because I was on the ventilator 24 hours a day. I couldn't walk, I couldn't do nothing for my family. I just wanted to die. I wanted to die 100 times. I asked my wife, I begged her to take me off the ventilator just to let me go.
He moved on because of us, because we moved on, because when he was in the hospital, he was ready to give up.
I wanted to know, show me the way, show me something that I can believe in. It was hard days, oh boy. But when I felt that difference, and it just felt like the whole room was squashing me. All kinds of pressure, then it was gone. And from then on, I felt good about things. Hi, y'all. Oh, they're starting their thing now about me and painting and stuff.
I have to make sure he's positioned properly, and I got to make sure he doesn't. If he starts to choke, I have to make sure and intervene in a situation like that. Make sure he gets his medications.
Yeah, Jason. I was outside on the apple tree swing, and she had yelled to us both, and we both came in and we started learning how to take care of Dad.
Can you hit it good, Amanda?
Yeah.
Home run maker.
And we started learning how to help him breathe better, help him eat. We washed his hair out on the deck and helped him get in and out of bed. There we go. Yay!
I wasn't able to do the things with him anymore as when I was a child before he had gotten hurt, and we went everywhere together. We did everything. I was Daddy's little girl, and it was just to not have him hug me or play with me or do things like that. It was very upsetting for me, and not only that, I was very embarrassed the fact that he was in a wheelchair.
Not being able to hug him anymore. Not really having him pick me up and hold me or dance with me. That was really hard, especially at my wedding. He couldn't dance with me. I mean, he was always there with the encouraging word and a lot of advice, but he still couldn't do what, like, he can't come over and help me build anything. He can't actually build something for me.
We open. It's supposed to be busy today. When I first got hurt, I was afraid to let my wife go grocery shopping. Because when I was in Boston Hospital, a fella I was talking to down there, his wife and family come and got him all ready to leave to go home. Then all of a sudden a day came for him to go home, and his wife never come and got him. She said, "I don't want him, I can't take him." And I always thought of that, my wife not wanting me. And it was hard to let her go somewhere, hoping, not knowing if she was going to come back home. When she married me, and she says for better or worse and richer or poor, she meant it. She stayed with me till she died.
I was very embarrassed the fact that he was in a wheelchair, and it was just very upsetting for me to have a father like that, because none of my friends had fathers in wheelchairs, and it was just very disturbing and upsetting for me, and it was very hard. I was just did not want to be seen in public with him. It just really bothered me. I ended up failing my grade. I failed the 4th grade when it first happened, and it was just a struggle through school for me.
We made it through though. I mean, we weren't graduating top of the class, but we did make it through.
I asked my mom, first of all, "Why me, Ma? What did I ever do wrong?" She said, "Jack, I don't know what to tell you. All I will say, because when you find your passion, and you find the reason you're like you are, you're going to take it and you're going to run with it. You'll make something happen." Oh, Christ already. Hello, Stones.
Hello. I was wondering if you'd like to go for a ride today, Dad.
Okay, when I get done work. What time I get done? We'll be done 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Where are you gonna go? You want to go with Hillary? He wants to go to that deer run place.
Okay, we can do that then.
All right.
Okay, I'll pick you up at 4.
All right. Thanks.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you too. There we go. When I got the confidence back is when I started, I opened up another butcher shop. And it started working. I was starting to be able to go back to work again. I wasn't making no money at it, but I had something to do every day. I had a way to get there, and that's what made my confidence start coming back. Because there people would say, "Jack, they look at you and say, you're doing good, Jack, man. We didn't think you were going to pull through it, but we're glad you're going through it. We're glad you're doing good, People started saying good things, and that made me feel better. And I started making money again. 4 or 5 steaks that equals 5 pounds. Yeah, that's all right, because the box weighs about an eighth of a... People tell me I can't do something. That's like putting me on the starting line and saying go. I go after. When I want something, I don't sit and talk about it. I get it. And in 1996, come March Day, I got accepted as a handicapped artist. And that's history from there, because without the mouth and foot painting artists, I wouldn't have nothing, because they're the ones that pay me enough to be able to live at home.
No idea what you're going to put in the bottom yet, huh?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, you do?
Most of the time when you're painting, you make a swipe with your brush. It was a mistake and ends up being beautiful. You take mistakes and they turn in, wow, that's kind of cute. Can you do it again? It's like being in Disneyland, because everything's pretty no matter what you look at down there. It's pretty. I took my children there a couple times and it gets beautiful. It's all colors. When you paint, it's its own little world. Every time I start painting, I'm in my own little world.
The idea for this?
Over on Trout Pond Road.
Trout Pond Road? Yeah.
I went by it a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it's got a swampy area there. I just never got to paint a swamp. I can't climb a mountain, but I can paint one. When I'm painting, I feel like I'm right in it. Like if I'm painting a log cabin, I'm building a log cabin. I'm right in the woods doing it. I swear to God, I feel it. If I make it a river, I make it so that I used to fish in the rivers. I make it look like the fish are there. There's fish there, and I make it look like it's a good fishing place. Sounds corny, but hey, it makes me feel like I'm having fun. I could be in a little house, a little cubby hole, painting, but it makes me feel like I'm out in the wilderness.
I'm not embarrassed to be around him anymore. I'm actually very proud of him for his accomplishments since his accident. He's truly an inspiration to me and a mentor. And my best friend. I know he's my father biologically, but I consider him my best friend, and we're just meant to be together. I mean, he's just the love of my life.
You remember when you first started? First we painted on a piece of glass. It was a window.
We painted that window.
We painted a window.
Albert still got it. Albert there across the road. Albert still got the painting.
We had nothing to paint on but a little window.
He says, if you ever get famous, I want to come see you, Jack. A
piece of glass.
A piece of glass. I'll probably walk across the road and break it.
Oh.
I cracked it trying to get it out of the wood.
I know.
I had to paint over it. There was a young girl, she broke her back in Tupper Lake on a snowboard. And she didn't have no insurance or nothing, so I took one of my paintings, I painted it, and I gave it to the hospital. We raffled it off and she got $4,000. We got $4,000 for the painting so she could have money to be able to buy a wheelchair or necessities that she couldn't get it without extra money. I've been doing that all my life. The painting that we just painted, doing with this article here, That painting's going to the VFW. Years ago, about 20 some years ago when I first got hurt, the VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars, they raised money for me to get a van so I could go to the doctors and get out of my house. Because without that, you stay home all the time. With a handicap lift. And now they're having problems, and I feel good because the painting that we painted, giving it back to them. So they can raffle it off and have money to help the post because they're in need now. But I'm still with my children, I'm still living. I still get to be happy and I'm successful. I made it. I made it hard, but I made it. I am proud of what I am now. I'm proud of what my children have helped me do, and I'm proud of what the neighborhoods helped me do. But I'm successful.